everybody. How are you doing? Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling energized? Are you falling asleep? Well, just before I start, because I'm doing the Twilight talk, I'd like you all just to stand up. I'm feeling a bit nervous up here. I don't know what about you, but I'm feeling a bit nervous. So I just want everybody just to stand up, and we're just going to do a little bit of shaking the arms and shaking the legs. Yeah, just shake. And as we're going to be talking about energy, I want us just to cross our energy over from our hand, just cross over. Just like that, yeah? Brilliant. And that's it, keep smiling. Lovely, well done. No, that comes after the talk. No, that's brilliant. Thank you so much. That's great. That's lovely. Right, okay. I don't feel as nervous now. Here it goes. It's absolutely lovely to be here. And thanks ever so much, Trevor, for inviting me along to give this talk. And he asked me, what would I give the talk about? Well, I said, my background is in nursing. I was a nurse for over 20 years. And I suppose I went into holistic medicine and studied it in London for 7 years. Because I suppose in my 20s, I wasn't very well. I got very depressed. Couldn't get out of the bed. It was called endogenous depression. And I was on medication for 3 years. And whilst medication brought me up and altered my chemical imbalance, after being on the medication for 2 years, I started to feel very flat and became like a zombie, where I couldn't feel my emotions. And I don't know which was worse, being depressed or actually having no emotion, where you became almost like a zombie. So I had to find another way to stay well and come off medication. And I suppose my journey has been, as the side effects of medication were really very unpleasant, I had to find another way to stay well. And it was a book that I read by Dr. Wayne Dyer, Your Erroneous Zones. And when I read it, I thought, oh my goodness, nobody ever explained about your emotions and your energy and understanding it. So it opened up a door, and it was like being handed the lottery to say, here you are, understand your mind and your body and how it works, and you can be well, and you can work on, I suppose, your mind, your body, and your spirit, and be well. 33 years on, I'm medication-free. Now, there was a history in our family, so I am delighted. And my brother, bless him, he's bipolar, he's on medication. But I have managed, my journey has been about staying well, about looking after oneself, and always, just like what Claire said and what Brian said earlier on, be aware of your energy. So this is, I hope by the end of it, you will have some tips to take away that you can use in your everyday life that will keep you well and keep you happy and bring the joy out from your heart and feel it in your every moment and your every presence of just being here. I hope I've got the right one now. Let's see. Oh, yes. So, indeed, what is energy? We all are energy beings, just like every cell in our body has an electromagnetic stress. Just as everything has electromagnetic, whether it is the mobile phone, whether it is meeting another person, or whether it's me touching the computer, it's all electromagnetic. So it's important, I suppose, really, that I have a tree here, because the tree to me is about the roots. And the roots is connected to the earth. If the roots are strong, then when the storm comes, the tree does not fall over. And in our lives, we all have a storm. Everyone has stress in different ways, whether it be our health, our finances, or not loving oneself. Everyone's storm is different. So we have the person here with roots, just like John was trying to create roots for us earlier on with this beautiful meditation. So it's important we hear the buzzword mindfulness, emotional intelligence, to help us to become more aware of our energy. To the right of the person is the figure 8. The figure 8 is the infinity sign. Our body moves up and down and around our body like a figure of 8. When the energy is flowing, and we know this through, in acupuncture, it's the meridians. The Chinese may call it qi or whatever. It's about having that energy flowing, just like the tree is in nature. It has its natural ability to be present and just have the energy flowing through it. And I suppose we don't see energy. Just imagine if we could see energy, how different things would be. I mean, Claire was talking about electromagnetic stress. I had a young girl come into me. She was a teenager into the healing centre with her mother, and she was suffering from headaches, and she had lost a lot of time at school. So her mother had been to neurologists, MRI scans, and another MRI scan. Everything was coming back normal, but the headaches were not disappearing. I use a technique called Diagnostic kinesiology, which is using the arm of the person. And I put the phone up to her head, and when I tested her with her arm up, her arm went down. She went down on the phone, like electromagnetic stress. And I said to her, make sure while you sleep that you have the phone 2 arms away from you, or even preferably outside the bedroom. And she said, I actually sleep with the phone underneath my pillow. The maintaining cause was the phone underneath her pillow. So the phone was kept out of the bedroom, and her headaches disappeared. And she went back to school. So just giving you a little example. But, you know, what amazes me is with energy, and when people come into the healing centre, I try to explain to them in simply as possible to get them to understand their own energy. And that's why the diagnostic kinesiology is so good, because they feel what I'm talking about. Would you like to see a demonstration of it? Yeah? Would you? Okay. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll use it with the phone here. So who would like to be tested? Lisa, you were talking about, you were asking the question about proving our energy or yourself here. So would you like to come up? Or Lisa, whichever, I don't mind. All right, Lisa, come. Yeah, okay. The reason is that a lot of the times we have the invisible forces of energy, which is be it love, we can't see the wind, we can't see faith, we can't see the spoken word, and we cannot see energy. So this is important, that sometimes for people to actually feel what it actually is that we do. So for instance, I'm going to take the phone here and I'm going to put it up to Lisa. I don't know how I'm going to do this now to test with the actual. Yeah, no, you're all right. You can hear me anyway, just for this test. You can hear me. So if I take Lisa's energy and I say to Lisa, push up and hold, I can't put it down, okay? And I put the phone up to Lisa's head. Okay, push up, and her arm goes down. It doesn't lock in. Usually, I always get to people to say I like them to feel a lock in versus a lock out. So, in other words, our thoughts are in every cell of our body. So I will say to Lisa, give me a positive statement. Maybe say yes. Just say yes.
Yes.
Push up, and her arm locks in. And I'll say no. No. Push up, and her arm locks out. Okay? Now say yes again. Push up, and lock in. And say no. No. Push out, and it goes down. Okay, so the body, her arm will be talking to me, giving me yeses and nos. Okay? So I'll put the phone up to Lisa's ears. Okay, push up, and down goes her arm. Okay, and push up again. Now I'm going to see, push up, all right, push up. How far away, push up. Her arm goes strong, this distance away, her energy goes strong. So Lisa's aura and her energy field will be affected once it's inside her aura. Does that make sense? Yeah, okay. So that's it. Yeah, thanks a million, Lisa. Thanks a million. So, okay. And that's very important because I suppose because of my own history, I treat a lot of people with depression. And it's important that they actually feel the difference between a positive statement and a negative statement in their body. And when people come into me with anxiety or depression, I explain to them that their airways, if it's like this, when they do anxiety or stress, it closes up. Their airways close in. And then they can't breathe. They find it difficult to breathe. So then they may experience a panic attack or anxiety attack. So I'm finding it difficult to breathe because I have so much anxiety in my cells and in my body, I just cannot relax. So I even tell them, just say, relax, inner peace, relax, inner peace. And their airways open up. I then test them with relax, inner peace. Their arm goes strong. And when I test them with sad and unhappy, down goes the arm. So they say, wow, that's amazing. Do that again. And I will again, and I will show them again, just to show that they have the power within themselves to almost change your own direction of your energy. Just like when I discovered that book by Dr. Wayne Dyer that explained about your energy and your emotions, I was like, wow, I didn't know our emotions existed. I didn't know that positive emotions strengthens us, and I didn't know that negative emotions take us down. Okay, so we have a fine line, 0 plus 50 minus 50. Okay, so here we are. All you need to be is in +1 to be in that space and place where your energy can move up and down and around, and where, if you practice enough, be it with your deep breathing and your positive affirmations, it can put you in a place of balance. Just as it can when you go out in the woods, among the trees, with your lovely rescue dogs, or gently jog, or gently walk, or if you love flowers, if you love painting, if you love dancing, whatever it is that you like to do. Because the essence of life is to actually feel good within yourself. Regardless of anything else, it's to feel good within yourself on a daily basis. So people come to me and they'll say, I have digestive problems. I may have, be it a migraine or digestive or heartburn or whatever it might be, and they'll say, I've had an ultrasound, I've had blood tests. Everything is normal. They're the people I'm interested in, because then I use the diagnostic kinesiology to go into the 5 dimensions of the body through the energy points called the chakras. So I will test each of these points, the crown, the third eye, the throat, the heart, solar plexus, sacral, and the base root chakra. Okay, and the most common one that tends to be out of balance is the base chakra here. It's almost like as if I've no roots. The roots are gone. I'm up in my head. I'm over-analyzing, and it's paralyzing. But it tends to be on the negative side of the spectrum and not the positive. So if I'm on the negative and I'm feeling sadness, and I'm feeling more sad, and I'm feeling more paranoid, and I'm feeling my low energy, I'm feeling hopeless, I'm feeling so depressed, it's almost like as if, how am I going to get myself over here where I can feel that little bit better? So with people, I test them for food allergies. In fact, the first thing I test people for is dehydration. A very simple technique, just touch the forehead and use the arm. A lot of the time, 80% of the time, the people actually are dehydrated. Thirstlessness is a very common symptom that people have, no desire to drink water. Because when you're thirsty, it's too late. You don't wait until you're thirsty. And we've heard a lot about water here today. And a dehydrated body will say yes. It'll say, I want water. And then if you want to be really fussy, you can go, people bring in their spring water, the tap water, and different types of water. And then we can test in priority. There's a priority mode that people can be tested for, and they don't tell me which is which. I don't want to know. I don't want to know which water is what. But usually, the spring water will come up in priority to be the best water to actually drink. Just as... who said that this morning? Somebody was saying, Justin. Yes, Justin said this morning. That's right, absolutely. So when you go in and you test the chakras and it's out of balance, whether it is from electromagnetic stress with the crown chakra being out of balance, or the base, as I said, the roots are not there. So I will test people for food allergy testing after dehydration. I will then test them for electromagnetic stress. I then test them for geopathic stress. And if they come up on either with the electromagnetic, I always say, phone out of the room, have a nice plant beside your bedside locker, because it'll give off lovely oxygen as you sleep. And even if you have sinus problems, you'll wake up in the morning with your nose completely clear. And it does. And people say, wow, that's amazing. I wake up, I have sinus problems during the day, I go to bed, I wake up, I can breathe through my nose, because the beautiful oxygen coming off the plant is so healing. And so with geopathic stress, again, I have a little vial of geopathic stress. And geopathic stress is suffering of the earth. Are you sleeping in a safe place? Are the energies crossing over, invisible lines of energy crossing over underneath your bed? You can get people in to test, and they can tell you if it's the head or the chest or the legs or whatever, where the problem is. And I suppose I like to use crystals, because I think that crystals are in the earth to heal the earth as much as possible. So with regard to geopathic stress, I recommend that they use rose quartz, because it's a beautiful crystal that strengthens the lymphatic system, and the lymphatic system drains out the toxins from the body. If the toxins build up greater than we can eliminate, then disease sets in the body. And the way to strengthen the lymphatic system is drink 2 liters of water daily. Exercise. Move that body. Move that body. So when you sweat and you move, the lymph and the cells go, yippee! Oh, thank you. Thank you for moving. I'm feeling better. You know why? Because the toxins say, I can't hang around here. I have to move. So the exercise, the water, and low or no dairy, because I test people for dairy as well, because it can be very mucus forming, and the lactose, many people may be allergic to the lactose in the milk. But geopathic stress, people say they come in with the problems of insomnia, low energy. I've slept 10 hours, I'm waking up with exhaustion. They're the sure signs. So, I'll just move on a little bit now. And again, I just wanted to show you here, when I test people for homeopathic remedies, I'm a homeopath. So I test them for food allergy testing, but then I test them for the homeopathic remedy. So if a particular homeopathic remedy comes up, it's usually related to an emotional block in an organ. Let me give you an example. So I had a young lady come in to me. She ran her own business, and she said, I have had fatigue for the last 6 years, and I can't get rid of it. So I assumed, well, you're running your own business. Are you under pressure? And she said, absolutely not. It's a small company, 2 other people working with me. It's going fine, no stress whatsoever. So she said, I just can't understand why I can't shake this fatigue. So I did food allergy testing for her. She had a perfect diet. She wasn't allergic to anything. She wasn't going down in electromagnetic stress or geopathic. I then tested her for virus and bacteria and fungal and parasite, and that was nothing. I said, your immune system is strong here, but she still had that energy fatigue. So I then went to the homeopathic remedies and I tested them, put her beside her face and tested her, and I found a few that went strong, and then from the few that went strong, I then had to prioritize a little technique where you put your middle finger into the middle of your thumb. It's called priority. And then when it changes polarity and went down, one remedy came up for her. And that particular remedy was Ignatia. And Ignatia is a remedy to balance the emotions. It's a remedy for grief, for sadness. She said she lost her granny 7 years ago. And she literally brought her up. They were inseparable. And she always said to her granny, when you do pass over, will you come back and give me a sign to let me know that there's something on the other side? And she hadn't, so she felt disillusioned and sad and all those years, because when I was describing the remedy to her, I got my Materia Medica book open and I said, this is what it's for. Does it match your symptoms? And she said, as you're telling me what it's for, about the grief and the sadness, she said, it's my grandmother. She said, I've never been well since my granny died. Just a case example. And the remedy was taken for a few weeks and her energy came back, and she was really happy and delighted. But every organ has got an emotion attached to it. So let's take, for instance, kidney adrenal here. We store fear in our kidneys. And it's very, very important. Sometimes the fear can be overwhelming for many people, and they will have maybe the symptoms of peeing a lot, or I'm peed off with life, or I'm nervous, or, everyone's symptoms are different. So then a particular remedy on testing could be like a remedy called aconite, which strengthens the kidney and adrenals. The lungs, of course, with grief. The liver can be, anger, resentment in the spleen. And, all these emotions are, because as I gave you that example of that lady with her fatigue, and it was just purely an emotional block. So emotions are positive and negative. And don't get me wrong, I sometimes learn as much from the negative emotions as I do from the positive, okay? Because people sometimes, when they go down and they're sad, what comes up can be quite phenomenal. I'm not saying, but, come over here, say, okay, I'm learning from this, but also we can move across into feeling good in ourselves. So when people come to me, I always say, imagine yourself within a circle, and that circle is complete. When that circle is complete, you're feeling in a good place. Your energy is good. You have zest for life. You're motivated. You feel you're on your purpose. And that's where you want to be. Because when you're testing people, you know, a lot of the time I find a few cracks in the circle, not necessarily one. So we have here the circle, people come in with fatigue, a lot of hormone imbalance, gastric skin disorders, depression, migraines, heart problems, whatever. I mean, one guy came in and he had chest pain. Now, I'm a complementary health practitioner. Okay, I work with the system. My background has been science. Now I'm working in energy. And I do believe that the two ought to merge together. And when I was a politician, I sat on the South East Health Forum, and I always used to say to the HSE executives, wouldn't it be lovely if we went, when people presented themselves into the emergency rooms, they went to the doctor, they had their blood tests, they had their ultrasound, they had their x-ray, and everything was normal. I would love to see a doctor prescribe, over there is your reflexologist, over there is your cranial osteopath, over there is your acupuncturist, over there is your homeopath. So we now have to move you on to the energy therapist, because from a physical point of view, we have not found anything, but it's in the energy. They will be able to look at the energy block and release it. Just imagine what it may do for the waiting list. If you think about it, I always have this picture of a little old lady who's Christmas time and she's lonely and she's really down because her family are overseas and she's on her own. And she goes into the hospital and she has her reflexology treatment. And her prescription is twice weekly reflexology. Now, that just may it might actually prevent her from having a bed in the hospital, because the contact and the connection and the communication and the love and the healing may actually allow her to feel well in herself and keep her in her own home over Christmas. So I like planting all these seeds because, you know, there's so much negativity out there with politics. It made me sick, I'll be honest with you. But it's so good to just imagine if, how lovely it would be. And, you know, the executives would come up to me afterwards and say, you know what, Breda, everything you said there, I agree with you totally. But they would never say it in the meeting. Just off the record, you're totally right in what you're saying. And I know that does work because a family member had it and it did help them. But keep planting the seeds. Okay, so when people come into me, as I said, the first thing I do is I test them for dehydration. And even though they're dehydrated, I may recommend that they drink 1.5 litres to 2 litres of water daily. And then I'll say to them, how many teas do you drink? And they'll say 8 daily. How many coffees? 4 coffees. Well, the tea and the tannin weakens the kidney and adrenal, okay? And I say if you have 2 tea and 2 water, tea or coffee is a diuretic, so that's minus. So if you have, that's -2 and +2, that means your body has nothing in. We have to get the plus balance so that the water will neutralize the acid and prevent acidosis taking place, which will then prevent disease setting in the body. Because an alkaline tissue will not go diseased. It's that simple. It's like our arteries in our body are like the rivers. The rivers flow beautifully. Now just imagine if there was a little bit of drought and the tree fell over and blocked the flow of water. And the same can happen to our own blood flow. It's important that we keep ourselves well hydrated, because there's no point in giving the amount of people that are on even orthodox medicines and they don't hydrate their body, because our liver is the second largest filter after the skin. And the kidneys is another filter. It needs the support and the help to keep the river flowing, just like nature, how it just keeps the water flowing. So again, I say to people, no more than 2 or 3 teas or coffee, and up with the water, 1.5 litres daily. You have to get that positive balance. That's the first thing that they have to do. If it's electromagnetic stress, and then it's important that they protect themselves. So because I'm a healer, I always have a little black tourmaline crystal on me. It's tiny, but here it is. It's called black tourmaline. It protects my energy because I'm sensitive to other people. If I'm healing and I don't have protection, I will take on their stuff and I will feel really crap afterwards because I'm a sensory, and indeed I heard Brian talk about emotions, and I could be in bed thinking about a story that day and I go, oh my God, that's so terrible. I feel so sad. So when I go to bed, I think about the sad things that happened during the day because that's me. I just do this, okay? And it's important that even when we go to bed, just like we wash our face and brush our teeth, that we clean our energy. And it's very simple, very, very, very simple. Put your feet on the bed, on the mattress, lying there, and you take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath in. I always like to say, breathe in for 3, hold for 4, release for 5. And John was doing this earlier on. Now, if you breathe in, I always say, go up the mountain, enjoy the view. Then breathe out what doesn't serve you. What doesn't serve you is negativity. Somebody said something nasty to you that day. Somebody didn't treat you very well. But they've moved on, but you still have it in your energy field. That's called you're psychically attacked by negative energy. So it's important that you breathe it out through your feet and imagine that the negativity is gone, dispersed, and recycled. I remember saying this to a little girl, and she says, what do we do with that negative energy? She said, oh my goodness, what do we do with it? Well, I say, I just imagine the fairies will put their wand on it and it'll turn into lovely, beautiful gold dust, okay? But it's important that we breathe in and breathe out and let go of the negative energy. I guarantee you that you will wake up feeling better. As I sleep, I heal. As I sleep, I heal. I wake up with balanced energy. This is important because if you go to bed worrying and you're worrying about 30%, you will wake up the next morning with 130% added on if you don't clean up your energy field. Or it'll come out in your subconscious with your dreams. Maybe in dreams that are not very nice, somebody chasing you. But I guarantee you that if you clean your energy, you will have lovely dreams of being protected or in a bubble or whatever. You know, it's important. Look after your energy. Just as you do, you eat good food, as you drink good water. Because once you balance your energy and tell yourself, I heal easily, wow, the rewards are there to feel it. Waking up with energy, balanced energy means waking up with inner peace. Not waking up, if I don't do this, when I wake up in the morning, Jerry he turns to me and he says, stop thinking. And I say, yes, he said, you're already thinking, stop. He will just say, stop thinking. Because if you're an analyzer and you analyze a lot in your head, then remember what I say, it'll pull the energy up into the head and it'll create that electromagnetic stress where the energy will not flow up and around the body, where you can feel the balance, where the healing can take place. Okay, so geopathic stress, metal and chemical allergies. Some people are allergic to nickel, and indeed I've seen sometimes people with allergies to metal, and I say to them, take them off at night or wear gold instead. And there is a particular remedy called Heparsol, indeed, which can detox metal from the body, because metal, when it's absorbed in women, it's absorbed into the uterus, and in men, it goes to the prostate. So it's important that sometimes you drink the water, and for some, even with the Heparsol, we've seen blood tests return to normal that prevented even operations for prostate, okay? So sugar and acid and low energy foods, well, it goes without saying that, you know, it's good to eat good food. And, you know, hearing today about the earth and the soil and eating the vegetables and the fruit is so important. And eating food, I suppose, that suits us. And I won't even say about diets to a certain extent, everyone's constitution is unique. Some people can be vegetarian and thrive in it. Other people can be vegetarian and get sick. So I do a technique called iridology, which allows to be able to look at the constitution and almost see what would nearly suit that particular constitution in the diets that they actually eat. Because remember, Jerry, my husband and myself went on a detox diet, the Vogel detox diet. Have you heard of that one, with the herbs? So it was fish only, and it was taking, the herbs and lots of fish every day. I was energized after a few days. Jerry got sick and ill, had to come off it. He was just detoxing too much, and he felt so ill, whereas I felt so energized. So everyone's constitution is quite unique in its own right to suit the particular diet that they actually take. Well, stress, as John spoke about stress earlier on, and the fight or flight or freeze, 80% of our ailments comes from stress. And whilst orthodox medicine does a fantastic job with the hospital and emergency rooms, and if I have a broken arm, I want my arm fixed, I do believe that the health service fails us in chronic diseases, because I would love to see the merging of orthodox more with the natural therapies that are out there. And, some GPs and doctors are opening up to working together with other therapists, and there are some consultants out there who recommend clients. So, well done to them, because they're opening their mind and looking outside just giving medicine all the time, which for some people can suppress people's energy. And I sit in the Southeast Mental Committee, and the one question that we have put forward from that committee of users, family and service providers is that we want to know how often medication is reviewed. And if it doesn't suit the patient, what does the doctors do to look at other methods of healing in the recovery to allow the patient to have the right choices. So in other words, reviewing of medication that is not just fed by pharmaceutical industries that are push, okay? So, and we're acting on this, and we're sitting around a table with the doctors, and that is an action that is going to take place, because there's wonderful people sitting on that committee who want the action. And, it's not just a talk shop. There can be talk shops too, but we want action, more action. Okay, stressed out, fear, guilt, anger, pain, resentment. It goes with many, people that come in with different complaints. Constitution, everyone's constitution is different. Some people have a strong constitution, some people have a weak constitution. Everyone's unique and different. It's like some people can get away with drinking more alcohol than others and feel the benefit of it. I'm not saying promoting alcohol, but, others then can drink alcohol and they just feel so weak and it doesn't do them so good. So again, everybody is unique. So if 3 people come into me with digestive problems or fatigue, each of those constitutions have a different maintaining cause and different remedies to aid their own healing. Okay? So breathe shallow. Honestly, if you just go away, and I'm looking forward to John's meditation again tomorrow. If you go away and practice that, after you say relax inner peace, remember when you say relax inner peace, your airways open up and it's much easier to breathe. Breathe in for 3, hold for 4, breathe out for 5. You will be giving yourself at least 10 years of extra life added on. I guarantee you that. Always tired, never getting anything done. Okay, well, let's just look, as we say, with the positive side of that. And I've gone through it again. To balance the emotions is so important. And, if there is a disease, I would say, in ourselves, it's lack of loving ourselves. We don't love ourselves enough. It's easier to give love than it is to actually receive it, because we're givers. And sometimes the hardest thing for people to do is to actually look after themselves and just say no. I have to put myself first here. Because if you criticize yourself internally, I'm not good enough, oh gosh, I feel bad, shouldn't have, oh boy, then the universe has got to give you what you're doing yourself. Then you will have more outer criticism coming from you. But when you start doing your own inner love, I get up in the morning now and I meditate. I'd actually had stopped for years. That's why I did become ill. And I had to work on myself, and take myself out to the woods. I became like that animal. I didn't tell anybody, I just said, going for a jog. I sat in the woods. And I sat there for half an hour, sometimes even an hour. And the poor dogs, they're Zen dogs at this stage. I have to put a coat on one of them because she's got thin hair. But it's almost like as if when you're sitting in a place of inner peace, you feel that inner peace. And, when you're very busy in your life, it's not so much even that it's your own energy. You take in other people's energy. You could be in a shop in a queue. The person in front of you has won the lottery. The person behind you is suicidal. So you leave that building or the shopping centre and you say, I feel mixed emotions here. You don't even own those emotions, but you've taken on other people's emotions. And you're not even aware because we can't see energy. We can only feel it. And remember, the essence of life is to feel good. So if you don't feel good and you're not being negative in your head, the chances are that you probably have absorbed somebody else's energy because we are all connected. All connected. So protect yourselves. Even before you leave your home, protect yourself. Protect yourself. Just say safe, strong, even and protected. And that's so important. And, when I'm out in nature, I will protect myself, balance my chakras. And then what I do is I send out the love and the light. I send it, first of all, I've balanced my own energy. And then I send it out to, firstly, my close family, my friends. I'll send it out then to the people that have lost loved ones or that had a great loss in their lives. And I always, when I do this, I always ask their permission. This is very important. Say, with permission. Because I was sending love and light to my brother, and he wasn't very well. Okay? He's bipolar, and he's, up and down. Okay? So I was sending love and light. And I was getting such a pain in my stomach. I just said, I was having a healing session, and I just said, I feel so sick in my stomach all the time. And the realization hit me. I was sending him healing. He was rejecting it. He was rejecting himself, number one. He didn't want the healing, so he sent it back, and I felt that as pain. So when you actually say with permission, you are respecting people where they are in their energy field, because that's important, okay? So with permission, I always say to heal their lower good, their upper, like it's mind, body, spirit. We have a mind, we have a body, and we have a spirit. And when we quieten the mind, our spirit talks to us. And it tells us beautiful messages. It's our intuition. But sometimes we don't hear our intuition because our mind is racing. And it's maybe negative or it's racing. But it's important to quieten the mind down so we can be guided by our inner guidance, because we are a spirit with a body, not a body with a spirit. And one of my favorite books that I ever read that helped me become more enlightened was Gary Zukav, thank you, John, The Seat of the Soul. The Seat of the Soul is one of my favorite books because it makes so much sense, because it don't matter whether you're successful or you own this or do that. What matters most is that you are connected to your true, kind, loving self, and that you're feeling happy and content in yourself, in your everyday life and living. And then nice things happen to nice people. We'd like to think that. But even if it doesn't, remember, if you have the roots and, when the storm hits, you will be more able to cope. Okay, so I talked about plants. Have some lovely plants in your home. I have lots of plants beside my bed. A big, big plant. I love it. I love nature. I look out at trees. And I just love, oh my God, if it wasn't for nature, I don't know if I'd be alive. I don't mean to say that. I just love nature so much. I just love the energy it gives. It's just so, it's free. It's available for everybody. The energy is clean. Yes, we have to look after our earth and send it love and light so that it can heal itself too. So, electromagnetic strength, nature, hydrated, mindfulness, breathe, meditate, positive affirmations. Every day, I started journaling 33 years ago when I read that book on emotions. When the negativity gets too big and I go, I've had a shit day. Oh my God, how could anyone do this to me? I was hurt. I was put down. Oh my God, this is just like so bad. I'm feeling so angry now. The last thing I want to do is sit down and meditate. You gotta be joking. No way. So what I do is I get a piece of paper, I write out, I say, feck this, feck that. I just fed up. So I write it down, then I burn it in the sink. And then I flush it. I see the ashes going down the sink. And I go, yeah, that's one thing, a ritual that just has helped me to feel better in myself. But not even that. It's like what Brian said earlier on. We are all connected. We are all connected. When you send out the love and light, when we're here together, we have that positive vibe. We're here to help one another. When I'm in a bad place, I don't even tell people because I don't share my negativity. Maybe that's my problem. That's why I did suffer from depression, because I didn't want to share negativity. But I have friends out there who are just saying, here, come on, you need to come and see me. I haven't even said it to them. They pick it up energetically. Come and have a healing with me, you know. And we are all interconnected, and we're all here to help one another. And synchronicity happens a lot. I always say everything is in divine and perfect order. So I never worry about what's out there. I just stay right here and stay in the moment, stay in the now. And what comes into my consciousness, I'll deal with. That's just living in the present moment and enjoying the moment to where we are. And smile, of course. Now, before we actually finish, one of the things I always like to do is that people feel better after my talk, whether or what or whatever we do, and just to get the energy moving a little bit. Okay, so I would now like us all to stand up again. Okay, now what do I do? Do I just press this? So we're going to get up and we're just going to dance. And we're going to move around the room if you want to, or stay where you are. Oh shit, what did I do? Sorry. Is it gone? How do I press play with this? Trevor, can we? Oh yeah. Hang on a sec. Right. So this is just, I actually had to do this at a workshop for nuns and priests, right? And the music wouldn't start for me. So we danced around the room, making up our own music as we went along. Can this work? Oh, click play. Sorry now, you're very good. Good man. Oh, yeah.
You sure you have it in there, huh? What's the song you need? What kind of a song do you need?
It's, is it not in it? Is it not? No. Oh, it's not in it.
What kind of a song do you need?
Oh, God. It was, get up, everybody, dance. Earth, Wind and Fire. Earth, Wind and Fire? Do you have it? Good man. Sorry about that. It actually didn't come up, so sorry about that. Just goes to show you we're not all perfect. We're not all perfect. But there you are. And if anybody wants to talk to me, and if anybody wants to be, I'm here for the weekend, I'm down at the back in the table down there, and if anybody wants to be tested for electromagnetic stress or for geopathic, I'll bring my kit with me tomorrow. I have my books as well, Words of Wisdom for Your Health and Happiness. In it is a section, a chapter, What is Making Us Ill? I've only got 8 books with me, but I'm pleased God, I have another one coming out just before Christmas. I write in the Waterford Today, and it's all the articles that people enjoy reading. I try to do it so it's informative and uplifting in whatever way. But are we? Oh, good man. Or does anybody want to ask me any question now? Oh, anybody want to ask any question?
Very recently I come into some information, is it Shagdu Guru, the Indian mystic? And he was talking about, because you were talking about energies, and he was talking about how you sleep at night. You're not meant to have your head to the north. Right. So the magnetic pulls the iron or heavy metals to the... So you're meant to be either to the east or to the west. South's not so bad, but ideally east to west, but not the north.
Okay, well it does. I think the energy where you do like, it's like the feng shui of north, south, east or west. It would definitely have an effect. There's no doubt about it. But sometimes one can change their bed with the bedrooms being a different size or whatever. But it's like the geopathic stress as well. Some people pay to have the copper rods put down. And we did a little experiment for somebody who put the crystal underneath the bed, and the guy came out with a geopathic stress, and he said there is no negative energy here whatsoever. She didn't say that there was a crystal in place, but the testing was done and it proved that rose quartz can actually have a positive effect while you're sleeping and make you even sleep better. Absolutely. Any other questions? I know. What's his name? Frankie. Frankie. How are we doing there, Frankie? I put you on the spot. Oh, now, okay, everybody. We just move the body. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. Come on, join me up here. Woo! 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 Everybody dance. Clap your hands. Clap your hands. Everybody dance. Clap your hands. Clap your hands.
Music never lets you down. Puts a smile on your face. Anytime, any place. Dancing helps relieve the pain. Soothes your mind. Makes you happy again. Listen to those dancing feet. Close your eyes and let go. But it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that
Brilliant!
swing.
Keep it going! You're brilliant!
Everybody dance. Clap your hands. Clap your hands.
Woo!
Everybody dance. Clap your hands. Clap your hands. Everybody dance. Clap your hands. Clap your hands. Everybody dance. Clap your hands. Clap your hands. Spinning all around the floor, just like Rogers and Astaire, hook all night without a care. Sweating to our favorite tune, the good times always in too soon. Everybody's dancing, let your feet have some fun. Come on, everybody, get on your feet. Clap your hands, everybody screaming. Everybody dance. Clap your hands, clap your
You're brilliant. Bless you. You're absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much.